Hi, friends. Welcome to the Mobile.P Pros podcast, a podcast dedicated to providing mobile bar and event professionals with the information they need to succeed. I'm your host, business coach, and founder of the Mobile Bar Academy, Sarah Murphy. In each episode, the Mobile.P Pros team will bring you industry experts, information, anecdotes, and opinions with the goal of assisting you in building a profitable, sustainable, and successful business that supports you in creating wealth. I'm excited to share with you today's episode, so let's get started. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, Amber. How are you this morning? It's pretty early for you.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you're in the Pacific Northwest. You're near Seattle.
Yes, I am. It's
And
nice and gloomy and rainy outside.
same here. We had terrible storms all last night. Kept me out. Huge thunder. One thing about Amber that I love and I think is super unique, and one of the reasons why I wanted to have you as the participant in this is that you found Mobile.P Pros years ago,
Mhm.
but you don't have a mobile bar.
Nope.
Let's say that you aren't mobile. You are.
Mhm.
You are probably one of the more popular treat cart companies that are in existence right now, specifically in the Northwest.
Yes. I hope so.
Oh, you are, and evident by the constant outreach that you get from people who are interested in picking your brain and modeling after what you do. Despite not being a mobile bar, you originally were going down that path and decided
Mhm.
to do that ultimately. What drew you to Mobile.P Pros?
But yeah, originally, of course, signing up back in 2019 because I bought a trailer and I was ready to make it a bar. I decided against that, but there was just so much good information on that group. And so I was a bartender for 10 years. So I did get to engage and share some of my knowledge, and all the bartender conversations were not lost on me, but there was just valuable information. My business did have a couple trailers and all that information was super helpful for me, but it just seemed like a good business support group additionally. And I actually thought about for many years wanting to do coaching with you. And I thought, oh, I'm not a mobile bar. I'll probably get kicked out of the group. If I admit I'm not a mobile.
Yeah, we had talked a couple times. You were a little nervous because you're like, I'm not a mobile bar. And ultimately, I think I was able to calm those fears and that I've worked with a variety of different businesses. My niche just happens to be mobile bars. What were the primary challenges that you were facing before you ultimately decided to take the leap and join the program?
So my business was growing faster than I had anticipated it would. And so I was so incredibly overwhelmed, honestly. And I didn't go to college, you know what I mean? I've done lots of service industry jobs. And I felt like, wow, there's this whole entrepreneurship side of things that I don't know how to do. And I'm having to learn them at a rapid pace because of how my business is growing. And I'm drowning. That was like the number one reason what I felt like I was drowning. And I needed a lifeline to help me come up for air. And when I saw you guys announce those programs, Exceed and Achieve, I thought, I feel like I fit into that. I'm not a mobile bar, but I feel like I fit into that. And this could be really helpful. And just having over the years seeing what you were offering the mobile bar community, I was like, I know I can glean so much from this. I just got to see if they'll let me.
We're happy to have you. What were the factors that were, because I'm assuming there isn't necessarily a treat cart coach in the industry. Maybe there is. I haven't looked into it, but I'm assuming you have. What were the factors about this particular program that were like, yes, this is what I need. This is the support that I'm looking for.
I think because it looked one very in depth and in like a course. It did to me, it didn't just seem like I see a lot of coaching stuff online and I don't discount it at all, but there's a lot of cheerleader encouragement going on and we all need that. But I needed something that really was about education. That's what I needed. I needed to be educated. I didn't need to be motivated and encouraged. Obviously, we all need that, but it's really the education piece for me that was super attractive. And I could see just from the academy that that was huge priority for Mobile.P Pros coaching program was the education piece.
Yeah, business fundamentals are a backbone of all of our programming. Obviously, we have different levels of support and includes things like coaching, one-on-ones, that sort of thing. But business education, I'm a big believer in the if you teach a man to fish model, meaning I don't think while I always think people should need a coach, I think whatever it is that you get from a program like ours should translate to other areas of your life and other businesses should you take it that way. Because oftentimes the businesses that you start when you first become an entrepreneur are stepping stones to further businesses, such as your ice cream carts might someday turn into a scoop shop, which we've
Yep.
also been touching on this year.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So can you describe your initial experience with the program and how it has met or exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, like out of the gates, and you actually just were talking about this. I don't know if it was yesterday, the day before, but yeah, our meeting and helping me set goals, and me going, nope, there's no way, there's no way. Immediately out of the gates, knowing, okay, this is going to push me, and this is going to challenge me, and this is what I need. But just the first quarter, like the classes, the droves of information you gave us and taught us how to really go through our business with a fine tooth comb. It's easy to get distracted by how you want it to look and how you want to make reels on Instagram or whatever, but it's the nitty gritty. It's the what are you actually paying for that? Are you really charging the correct amount? The spreadsheets were magic.
The zone of genius there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always really appreciated that about you is that you recognized that you had the pretty stuff down. Like you understood design, the creativity, had a passion for customer service. What you recognized you didn't know was how to run a business that was
Yeah.
profitable, sustainable, and scalable. And those were the missing pieces that you needed.
Yep.
Which is not uncommon in this industry. It's actually very common for people to get into the events industry because it seems fun, because they're creative, because they're passionate, because they have a tendency towards customer service, and then no idea how to do the businessy side of things.
Yep. Holy crap. I've made this pretty business. People love it. People want to pay for it. And I've got to figure out how I'm going to do it at this scale.
Absolutely. So speaking of that, like how has your business and or life changed since you joined the program 9 months ago?
My business it actually is starting to look different. It's hugely changed. One, I've gotten the education, but you guys are also helping us figure out what are our goals, what are our passions, and what do we want our lives to look like a few years from now. And when you guys first asked me that, I was like, oh, I have to say what I want my business to look like. And I think somebody else in our class was like, oh, I would love to own like a vintage trailer park full of like Airbnbs. And I was like, oh, our goals can be something that's not exactly directly related to our business. So just like helping to ignite a passion of how our business can move us in a certain direction that may not even look like what our business is now, and the freedom to do that, but also the freedom to recognize that passion and take a big risk. So I've sold off. The sale takes place this weekend, actually, the final sale, or the changing of the guards, if you will. But our biggest revenue stream from 2021 and 2022, we have sold that part of the business because it is not lining up with our goals, our visions, our passion. And it was a scary thing to do.
I was just going
But
to ask
you
you how
guys
scary was
walked me through that and helped show me that A,
that?
it's going to be best to follow your passions, but B, it's going to be okay. And I will say that not only have I hit huge revenue goals, but the part of my business, the ice cream carts and the treat carts that I am keeping, is already killing it more out of 2023 than the other side of my business, the photo booth campers.
Which was your big
For-
concern, right? It was the
Yes. Yep.
photo campers were the moneymaker. They were your cash cow,
Mhm.
and you couldn't possibly let go of that piece. And what we wanted to challenge you is to really look at that story and ask yourself, is it true? And at first you were like, yeah, the numbers say it. That like
Yeah. Yeah. I
this
have.
number is bigger than this number. But we created space, and that really enabled the treat cart portion of your business to
Yep.
thrive.
Creating that space and giving me the tools I needed to do the right things with those, to move those in the direction I want them to be. And yeah, they have far exceeded what the revenue goals that I thought they would. So I actually haven't looked at like the most recent final number, but I would probably confidently say we've doubled what this year what we did in treat carts last year. And it is now my biggest revenue stream.
So what do you think the aspects of this program are that are the most unique, beneficial, your favorite?
So I would say the most unique and something that I didn't expect to get is Dawn and what she brings to the table. Like when I signed up for this, at no point did I expect I would be like talking about like childhood trauma and like all these things that have happened in my life that make me uniquely who I am today, and how that it is all a piece of the puzzle. And Dawn just has this gifting of seeing inside your soul and pulling all that out and helping you wrestle through that and figure out like who that makes you today and how it impacts your business and how it impacts
That's right.
the decisions you make and how you set goals and stuff. So that has been really unique and surprising and hugely beneficial.
Yeah, I'm glad that you pointed that out because even in the Exceed program, which for people who are following along, we used to have an Exceed and an Achieve program. And going forward for this 3-month container that we're enrolling now, it's one container, not two different ones. But the Exceed program, which is very similar to the Achieve, it's a different group for people at a different revenue level, had a lot of resistance in the beginning about mindsets, just in that there's business and there's personal. There's business and there's personal. And I remember a conversation in the very beginning where Dawn made it very clear that there is no separation. And it was a very like moment for everybody in that
Mhm.
the way that you live your life is the way that you run your business. And so as we're trying to get people to the next level, we have to change behaviors and thought patterns because those behaviors and thought patterns are what got you here, but they aren't what's going to get you there. So when we start talking about what stories are you telling yourself and like the mindset stuff,
Mhm.
oftentimes we get a lot of pushback and resistance because we're not talking about that. We're talking about how to make me more money. Okay, we can't talk about how to make you more money until we talk about why you don't think you deserve that money or what story you're
Yeah.
telling yourself about that scale. Absolutely. I'm glad you pointed that
Yeah.
out.
And I'm glad you explained it so much better than me. Mindset. That's exactly what it comes down to. I was looking for the education and I'm like, holy crap, mindset it's fundamental to run a successful business.
Yeah.
Really is.
Don and I, we sometimes joke that we sell people the education because that's what they think they need.
Mhm.
Then we give them the mindset because that's what we know they need.
Yeah, because I think sometimes the thought of it can be scary to people, right? They're like, "I don't wanna dig into that." And don't get me wrong, people, we're not going through therapy and
Right. There's no therapy here.
but it's like taking those bits and pieces and assessing them and figuring out how that's messing with your mindset today because, yeah, like you said, you have to have the right mindset to owning a business is hard.
Yeah.
And it's gonna have challenges. You gotta have that mindset in place to keep you focused, keep driving you forward,
Yeah.
and have the confidence to walk up to people and introduce yourself, something as little as that.
That's right. Confidence, I think, is a really great alternative word to mindset in that oftentimes, and we see this in almost every one of our programs, people get into this industry and they start running their business and they get like an iota of success. But what they've never learned to do personally, which means they not learned to do it professionally, is handle money.
Mhm.
Money is a mindset thing. Money
Yeah.
is a confidence thing. If you're not confident with money, if you're not confident about your numbers, you will be a sieve for cash. If you've never held cash, if you've never been able to project cash flow, if you've never planned ahead for future expenses, you're you're not gonna be able to do that in your business either. And so to your point, like having confidence in your brand, confidence in you, which in the beginning, you are your brand, right? And so you feel a little like self-conscious showing up big in a room or showing up all the time in email or showing up all the time on social media because you're like, nobody really wants to hear from me every day, right? But we build that confidence within the program because we know that you need to be big in order to be successful. So, do you think that I think I know the answer, but do you think the investment in the program, and to be clear, you pay double being part of the Exceed program than what we're charging for this upcoming program. Even at that double the rate, do you think that your investment in this program was worthwhile?
100%. 100%. I would pay more. And when I've run into because being a bartender for 10 years, I tend to gravitate towards bartenders, especially in the industry. I hang out with a lot of them and I tell them all, I'm like, you should really be in this program. It's worth every penny. I 100% assure you this. And even if you're newer and you're thinking, I don't have the money to do that right now. My business isn't making money. Doesn't matter. Whatever you're going to spend on a trailer, this is worth it just to invest in this because I feel like, man, if I would have done this even a year earlier, how much further would I be now? And I know one of the things we've talked about in the program is like when we're hiring people, and Sarah always says, if you've hired the right person to do the right thing, they should pay for themselves in 3 months. And I can assure you, I hit 100K in sales the first quarter. It paid for itself in 3 months.
What?
And then
Yeah, and then we continue. We continue to do that, right? Yeah, I appreciate that recommendation and that honesty in its value. It's obviously we price things so that it provides more value than what we're paying or that people would pay. That's always the goal. But I think that a lot of credit also goes to the fact that you were very good about and are very good about showing up and doing the work. That being said, you don't and haven't had or felt the need to participate in all pieces of the program and you're still getting results. For example, we do weekly check-in and check-outs.
yeah.
And you don't really fill those out any longer, but
Mhm.
you're still seeing the results. And I think that's
Yeah.
important because sometimes people are looking at programs and they're like, there's no way I can handle all those meetings and all those check-in and check-outs and all those lessons. And in reality, you don't have to participate in everything to see results.
Yeah. And I would hate for somebody to not do that piece and think, now I'm not going to show up because I didn't do it. I'm just telling everybody if you're like, oh, I'll be able to handle it all. And then I'll be too embarrassed to show up or whatever. Don't be. Show up still. Like I was diligent for the first while doing all those. And then our busy season in the Pacific Northwest hit and I have not been able to do it, but I'm still working on things. I still see the emails come in every week, check in, check out. And I think, oh, what have I done? You know what I mean? And I do plan in
Yeah.
Q4. I do plan to get back to it because now we're coming out of our crazy season and I really want to, I think well, I'm counting down in a please don't end way, not a counting down till it's over. Like, how many more weeks do I have left in this coaching program? What am I going to do when it's over? And I was looking at something in January. Oh, will I be able to do it? Do I have a class that day? And I'm like, oh, I'm not in class anymore in January.
Yeah, the program ends at the end of the year. That doesn't mean you can't renew. We can talk about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I
So
want to finish
yeah.
Q4 strong,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna get back to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anyone who's watching right now, if you have questions for Amber, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm happy to ask her. This program is enrolling starting today and it goes through Sunday. This is a 3-month container. So unlike Amber, who is in the full year container, this is just a 3-month container because we really want to help mobile bars finish this year strong. It's been a hard year for the service industry. Across the board, we're seeing overall event numbers go down. We're seeing overall spend go down. But that doesn't mean there isn't still a huge piece of the pie out there to be had by people who know how to create the strategies necessary to get the pieces of the pie. And so we created this program to help people finish strong. It's not a long-term commitment. I remember asking Amber if she thought that this program should be shorter. And you were like emphatically, no, this should be a 1-year program. So I'm going against Amber's suggestion there we'll see how it goes for last quarter, but we wanted this to be approachable. We wanted it to be affordable. It's less than $1,500 for all of this support for 3 months. It is a little bit pared back because we recognize that time commitment in this season might be hard with the holidays and stuff. So there's not quite as many in-person commitments, but still access to all the business information and coaching support. Brianna asks, what's your best advice for getting leads? Amber, I'm going to let you take this because you've been a very good student. If you were asked how best to get leads, what would you suggest?
Honestly, my best recommendation is to network with your fellow vendors, show up at the networking meetings, reach out to them, introduce yourself, especially if you're really new. Find vendors who want to do styled shoots. They're your amplifiers. I would say Instagram is probably where I get 50% of my, it's not, it's definitely where I get 50% of my leads from. The other biggest one is vendor referrals. So venue owners, coordinators, that's where you're going to get a lot of leads, building those relationships.
And let me ask you this, because you get 50% of leads through referrals and 50% of leads through Instagram. Do one of those two have a higher close rate than the other?
I would say the vendor referrals does.
And I would like to reflect that because I teach that social media is the least important visibility strategy for our industry.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll get people that push back on that. And they're like, no, I get most
Mhm.
of my leads from Instagram. But the next question is always, what portion of those leads are you closing? Because
Yeah.
you get half the leads from following the amplifier method and close way more of them than
Mhm.
getting a lot of leads or looky-loos from Instagram. And so
Yeah.
you've really done a lot of work this year in strengthening the relationship with the amplifiers through
Yeah.
networking and cold outreach and that sort.
And I'll share a tip with you that Sarah shared with us that I really took to heart. Usually, this time of year for us in the Pacific Northwest, our busy season is coming to an end. Obviously, we have the holiday party kick up. The most part, weddings are slowing dramatically down, and I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I don't really want to network, but it is the best time to network. And she was sharing that with us because engagement season is going to be right after Q4, right? So we want our face, our business, all of that stuff to be in front of our amplifiers. And so networking is more important now than ever in the year.
Wow. I'm glad that you brought that up because there are multiple points of a good visibility strategy. The first is to be known, but the second is to be remembered. And if you're not fresh in their minds during engagement season, even if they know who you are, you might not be top of mind. You'll be in there somewhere if they really have to dig
Mhm.
for it. But if you were just at a networking event with someone and they have someone who reaches out because they're engaged and they want something special, in your case, it'd be like an ice cream cart, but in a mobile bar case, it might be an elevated bar experience. It'll be fresh in their mind. And so it'll be very easy for them to reach for that versus, oh, I think I've heard of somebody. I can Google it for you.
Yeah. Like as a bartender, I would be out there talking to my amplifiers about the quality of my cocktails and even just, and don't make it like salesy, but just sharing like the part of your business that you're passionate about, that's going to resonate with them. That's the thing that they'll remember. And while they have a million bars to choose from, they can say, "Oh, but she's so passionate about her cocktails," or whatever it is about your business that.
Absolutely. We have another question here. Are there specific people you cold call or reach out to? Yes, that is all part of our visibility strategy. So you should join the program and we can put together that strategy for your Q4. Q4 is actually a really great time to, especially the first month of Q4, October, if you're wanting to get corporate or holiday business. And that's because oftentimes corporate doesn't really choose their bar or plan their events very well, honestly, until after Halloween, maybe even after Thanksgiving. So if you get in front of them before that, you again will be at top of mind. Amber, was there anything else that you'd want to share or anything that you would think you would have wanted to know before investing? Was there any questions that you had that kind of put you over the edge of, yeah, this is a no-brainer?
I honestly, I say do it. If you are on the fence about it, just leap, do it. It's 100% worth it. It really is. You'll wish you did it sooner. You'll wish she gave you a year. No. You'll sign up again.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Amber. I think it's super valuable for people to hear from and have access to people that are currently in programs. And I am just so proud of the work that you've done and the commitment that you've made to yourself and your business and the investment that you've made financially, time wise. And we've talked a lot about your business, but to end on a personal level, how do you feel being 9 months into the program, your relationships with yourself, your family? I know that at the beginning, like hubby was a little like rubbed raw in the business, run ragged a little bit. How is all of that looking today?
We are encouraged, we're hopeful, we're excited about the future and the direction of our business because we really feel like we have a clear path now. And while I do know that there's areas I need to grow in, I have put on the crown of CEO.
You- I love it. That's crucial. It's critical if we're going to get out of the operating and into actually enjoying the benefits of our business.
Yes.
We have one last question here from Lovely. You're in the Caribbean. Very interesting topic. Would this program work or be adaptable for the Caribbean? And yes, honestly, because we're a business academy and we have our whole goal here are business concepts. And so, with the exception of people who are like, what insurance should I get? Which is different based on even every state. The fundamentals of this program are business, support, accountability. And so all of those things are applicable no matter what physical or geographic location you're in. Jessica asked, would this session suggested for someone that is in the planning, no bartending experience, or the session for current mobile bar owners going towards their fourth quarter? This is a really good question too, Jessica, because this is a completely customized program. So one of the first things that you're going to do in this program is you're going to meet with me and we're going to create a strategy for your quarter. And everybody's strategy is a little bit different. Some people are working on their financials. We had one group program member who their first quarter goals were really just to like iron out everything, that create their books, make sure that they filed their taxes properly, all of that. Whereas others are working on visibility. Some people are working on operations or scalability, maybe setting up their CRM or working on lead funnels. So everybody's going to have a different goal and they're going to come in at a different place in their business. And so we customize the strategy specifically for where you are. Honestly, when people come to me and they're like, I'm just getting started, that's my favorite place because I don't have to undo any of the bad habits that you've already created in doing your business from the hip. And so the earlier you get into this program, the better, because we're going to be able to start right off with what we know are proven systems that are scalable, systematized, and proven to work in this industry. So I love that question, Jessica. Awesome. Those are the end of the questions that we've had come through. If you have additional questions as attendees and we've cut you short and you haven't gotten it in time, that is totally fine. You're welcome to reach out. I'm also going to drop a link so that you guys can apply. They'll just give a little rundown of the program. I pretended that was so difficult. It literally just mobilebevpros.com/coaching. So if you guys want more information on this program or to apply, just click the link in the comment section and fill out an application. It comes directly to me. I review it, see if we're a good fit for what you're seeking. And then we go from there. But we are enrolling only until Sunday at this rate. So make sure that you don't sit on your hands because after that, we're just working with the people that have already applied and been accepted.
Do it.
Amber, thank you so much for your time and your honesty and your willingness to be transparent with people. I want you to know that your participation here and your honest review of the program has the ability to really impact other people's businesses and wealth abilities. And I think that's special.
That's awesome. Thank you for having me. I am happy if I can help support somebody to take the step to change their business for the better and their life, to be honest.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Amber.
And that wraps up today's episode. I hope it was valuable. I would love to hear from you what you thought. You can drop me a line at hello@mobilebevpros.com or find me on Instagram @mobilebevpros. If you're looking for more valuable mobile bar related content, we have a website full of it. You can find us at www.mobilebevpros.com. And I'd love to see you in our Facebook community, also by the name of, you guessed it, Mobile Bev Pros. Thank you for joining me today. And until next time, cheers.